The colony of Arendor had always been on the edge of the known galaxy. Its red deserts and jagged mountains were harsh, but humanity had survived here for decades. Cities of metal and glass stretched across the plains, connected by long highways where transport vehicles moved day and night. But now those cities were silent, empty, or burning. Alien ships hovered above, their black hulls blotting out the sun, and soldiers of the alien empire patrolled the streets, demanding obedience and fear. Inside a half-destroyed laboratory at the edge of the city, Dr. Lena Voss adjusted her visor and peered at a blinking console. Sparks flew from broken wires and smoke curled from damaged machinery. Around her, her team of scientists and engineers moved quickly, gathering supplies and checking weapons. Every sound outside reminded them that time was running out. "They're closing in," whispered Dr. Voss. "We need to finish the beacon. If we fail, everything we built here will be gone." A young soldier named Jarek, barely 20, helped carry a strange cylindrical device across the floor. "The signal will reach them?" he asked nervously. His eyes darted toward the shattered windows where alien patrols moved like dark shadows against the red sky. Dr. Voss nodded, though she was not certain. "It's our only chance. If we can reach the stars, something might hear us. Maybe they can help." The beacon had been a secret project, one designed to contact distant civilizations far beyond the reach of the aliens. Lena had spent years studying old maps of star systems, ancient signals, and theoretical physics. The device was complicated and fragile, but it was humanity's last hope. Outside, the alien soldiers marched through the streets. They were tall and sleek, their armor reflecting the sun in sharp angles. Their voices were harsh, alien, and full of authority. Wherever they went, humans crouched in shadows or hid behind ruined walls. Few dared to resist. Lena and Jarek worked together, connecting wires and entering codes. The machine hummed softly, the energy in its core growing stronger. Lena wiped sweat from her brow and looked at her team. "Once it starts transmitting, we cannot stop it," she said. "Everyone must be ready for anything." Jarek swallowed hard. "Anything like what?" Lena shook her head. "I don't know, but something out there, in the stars, is listening now. We have to trust it." With a final adjustment, Lena pressed the activation panel. The beacon glowed softly and a sharp pulse shot into the sky, invisible to the naked eye. A ripple of energy spread across the planet, reaching far beyond Arendor, far beyond the galaxy. For a moment, silence returned. Then a strange sound shook the city. Not a human sound, not an alien sound, but something deep, powerful, and alive. From the oceans, forests, and mountains of Earth, creatures that had been hidden for centuries sensed the call. On Earth, deep in the Amazon jungle, a massive creature stirred. Its eyes glowed with intelligence and its scales shimmered in the sunlight. For years, humans had called it a myth, a dragon, a guardian of the forest, but now it moved with purpose, as if the universe itself had sent a message. Across the world, similar creatures awoke. Giant wolves with fur like molten metal, massive birds with wings wide enough to block the sun, serpents that could glide through both air and water. Back on Arendor, Jarek turned to Lena, alarmed. "Do you hear that?" I don't know," Lena said, but even as she spoke, the first signs appeared. A massive shadow passed over the city, and the ground trembled beneath their feet. Humans ran to windows and doors to see what was happening. From the sky, a giant bird descended, its wings slicing through the wind. It landed in the street ahead of the alien patrols, sending soldiers scattering in panic. Its eyes glowed with a strange light, and it let out a sound that seemed almost like a roar of defiance. The alien commander shouted orders, but his soldiers could not understand the creature. Before they could react, more creatures arrived. From the mountains, armored beasts charged down slopes, crashing into alien vehicles. From underground, enormous serpentine creatures burst through the streets, forcing the invaders to retreat. Humans stared in awe and disbelief. For generations, they had lived with the stories of Earth's monsters, tales of dragons, giant beasts, and creatures that could think and reason like humans, but they had never believed them. Now the monsters were real and they were fighting for humanity. Lena grabbed Jarek's arm. "Stay calm. Watch them. Learn." The monsters were terrifying, yes, but they were also disciplined. They did not attack humans even as the aliens fled. Instead, they moved with purpose, coordinating their attacks as if guided by a single mind. The aliens who had thought themselves invincible were unprepared for this force. Their weapons, advanced and deadly, seemed almost useless against creatures that could dodge, strike, and crush with incredible speed and power. In one street, a massive lizard-like creature smashed through a group of alien walkers, snapping them in half with its tail. A winged predator dove from above, snatching a hoverbike in its claws and flinging it into the sky. A group of armored wolves surrounded a squad of alien soldiers, forcing them to surrender without a single human firing a shot. Jarek could hardly speak. They're helping us, he whispered. Lena nodded. Yes, they heard the call. The beacon. It worked. Despite the hope, Lena knew the danger was far from over. The aliens would regroup and Arendor was still in ruins. But for the first time in weeks, humans dared to hope. With the monsters on their side, the impossible now seemed possible. Later that night in a ruined plaza, Lena and Jarek watched as the monsters patrolled the streets, their massive forms casting long shadows in the fires that still burned. Humans cautiously emerged from hiding, moving alongside the creatures, learning how to survive in this new reality. One of the creatures, a massive wolf with fur like silver, approached Lena. Its eyes were intelligent, almost human in their depth. It sniffed her cautiously, then turned to Jarek and gestured with a nod of its head. The gesture was simple, but it carried a message. We are allies. We will protect you. Lena's heart swelled. We're not alone anymore, she said softly. Across the city, more humans emerged, inspired by what they saw. The alien empire had underestimated both Earth and humanity. They thought they had conquered a distant colony. But they had not counted on the monsters of Earth, awakened by a call from desperate humans who would fight for survival and freedom. As the stars shone above, Lena thought of the signal still traveling through space. Somewhere out there, other civilizations might hear it too. But even if no one else came, humanity had found help where they least expected it, on their own planet, in the creatures that had been waiting, watching, and waiting for the right moment to rise. Jarek looked at Lena, eyes wide. Do you think they'll stay? They'll stay as long as we need them, Lena replied. And maybe, just maybe, they'll help us take back everything we've lost. The wind carried the sounds of distant roars and crashes through the night. Humans whispered among themselves, sharing stories of hope and courage. The monsters moved like shadows, vigilant and ready, guarding the survivors as they learned to rebuild and fight back. And so, for the first time in a long time, humanity on Arendor slept with a spark of hope in their hearts. The stars had heard their plea, but the monsters of Earth had answered. This completes Part 1, 1,300 words. It sets the scene, introduces the humans, aliens, and monsters, and begins the HFY theme of humans allying with Earth's unique creatures to survive. I can continue with Part 2 next, where the monsters' presence escalates and humans start learning to fight alongside them. The morning sun rose over the shattered city of Arendor, casting long shadows across streets littered with debris. Fires still smoldered in some areas and the air smelled of smoke and metal. Yet despite the destruction, there was a new energy in the colony. Hope. Humans walked cautiously among the monsters, observing their behavior and marveling at their strength. Jarek followed a massive silver-furred wolf through the ruins. The wolf's eyes shone with intelligence, and it moved with a purpose that made Jarek realize it was not simply an animal. It led him to a group of children hiding in a collapsed building. With a gentle growl, the wolf nudged them forward, encouraging them to leave the shelter. The children hesitated, then slowly followed, trusting the creature more than they had trusted anyone in weeks. Lena watched from a distance, making notes on her datapad. She had spent the previous night analyzing the monster's movements and behaviors. Each type of creature had a role. Some were scouts, some were fighters, and some seemed to guard the humans. Their intelligence and coordination were far beyond anything humans had expected. We need to understand them, Lena said to Jarek, who had returned after helping the children. If we can communicate even a little, we can work together. They can be our strength against the aliens, Jarek nodded. But how do we communicate? They don't speak our language. Lena looked at the silver wolf, which had returned to her side. We don't need words. We need gestures, signals, and patience. Watch how they respond to actions. They already understand more than we think. While humans studied the monsters, the aliens regrouped. The black warships hovered above, scanning the city for signs of resistance. Alien commanders barked orders, their harsh voices echoing over loudspeakers. The humans are weak. These creatures are primitive. Destroy them and crush the colony! But the monsters did not wait for humans to plan. They struck quickly and decisively. A massive winged predator dove from the sky, carrying a broken alien walker high into the air before smashing it into a building. Armored lizards charged through streets, sending patrols fleeing. Even underground serpents moved through the sewer systems, ambushing alien reinforcements and cutting off supply lines. Humans began to see a pattern. The monsters were not acting randomly. They were targeting the aliens with precision. A young engineer, Mia, pointed to the monsters coordinating attacks in small groups. "They're working together," she said. "They have a strategy. Look at how they flank the enemy and cut off escape routes. This is not instinct alone, this is intelligence." Lena nodded. "We need to learn from them. Watch and take notes. If we can mimic even part of their tactics, we might survive longer." The first real opportunity to test this came when the aliens launched a counterattack on one of the outer settlements. Human survivors had barricaded themselves inside a partially destroyed building, but they were surrounded on all sides. The aliens fired energy weapons, tearing through walls and sending rubble flying. Panic spread among the humans, then the monsters arrived. A massive armadillo-like creature charged through the alien ranks, its armored shell deflecting blasts and smashing vehicles. Giant wolves ran in packs, forcing the aliens to retreat or surrender. A serpentine creature emerged from the sewers, striking from below and surprising the invaders. Jarek watched, heart pounding. "We should help them." Lena nodded. "And we will, but carefully. Follow their lead. Don't interfere unless necessary. Let them teach us." Working alongside the monsters, humans began using simple tactics to assist. They directed monsters toward alien positions using gestures and signals. Engineers set up traps that the monsters could activate naturally, like swinging logs or collapsing structures. The combination of human planning and monster instinct proved devastating. By midday, the aliens were in retreat, their forces scattered and disorganized. Human survivors emerged cautiously, cheering as they saw the monsters guarding their positions. Children ran to hug the creatures, and even the soldiers, hardened by weeks of war, could not hide their amazement. But not everything went smoothly. Some monsters were unpredictable, attacking anything that moved. Lena realized that while the creatures were intelligent, they were still wild in many ways. She and Jarek spent hours training a small group of soldiers to guide the monsters, using signals, sounds, and even light patterns. Over time, the monsters began to respond to human instructions, though always maintaining their own initiative. As evening fell, the humans gathered in what remained of the city hall, now partially protected by the monsters' presence. Lena addressed the group. "We have learned something important today. These creatures are not just allies, they are protectors. They are teaching us how to fight in ways we could never imagine, but we must respect them. If we try to control them, we will fail. Cooperation, trust, and understanding, these are our weapons." Jarek raised a hand. "But what about the aliens?" "They'll be back, stronger, more prepared." Lena's eyes hardened. "Then we will be ready. Today they saw the monster's strength. Tomorrow they will see what happens when humans and monsters fight together." That night, Lena stayed awake in the ruins, watching the monsters patrol the streets. Some perched on rooftops, scanning the horizon. Others roamed the alleys, sniffing the air and listening for signs of the enemy. Despite their terrifying appearance, there was a calm intelligence in their movements, a sense that they understood the stakes better than the humans themselves. A soft growl sounded near Lena, and the silver wolf she had observed all day sat beside her. It regarded her silently, its eyes reflecting the fires of the city. Lena reached out a hand slowly. The wolf nudged it gently, a gesture of trust. "We'll need more of that tomorrow," she whispered. "Trust is everything." Meanwhile, far above the colony, alien commanders conferred aboard their ships. "The humans are not weak," one of them said. Its voice crackled through the comm system. "These creatures, they are unlike anything we expected. We underestimated this world. Increase reconnaissance. Prepare heavier weapons." Another commander shook its head. "We cannot wait. They are forming alliances we cannot penetrate. If we do not act quickly, this colony will slip from our control. Prepare for full assault tomorrow." Back on the ground, humans prepared as well. Soldiers practiced new tactics alongside the monsters. Engineers reinforced structures, creating defensive positions that complemented the monsters' natural abilities. Children and elderly were moved to safer locations, guided by the creatures that now acted as guardians. Lena and Jarek took a moment to review their progress. "We are learning," Lena said quietly. "Every day, every battle, every mistake teaches us something new. And the monsters, they are learning too. They are watching, listening, and responding. This is not just survival, it's evolution." The next morning, the colony awoke to the sound of distant engines. Alien ships had returned, larger and more numerous than before. But the humans no longer trembled in fear. The monsters responded instantly. Winged predators soared into the sky, armored beasts charged across the plains, and serpentine creatures moved through underground tunnels to flank the incoming forces. Humans followed the monsters' lead, using new strategies and forming coordinated attacks. They learned to trust instinct as much as intelligence, combining human creativity with the raw power of the creatures. Together, they struck the alien forces with a precision that neither side had seen before. By midday, the aliens were again retreating, but this time, they carried with them a growing fear. They had encountered an enemy unlike any they had imagined, a force that combined human ingenuity with the unpredictable, powerful monsters of Earth. In the aftermath, Lena stood on a high rooftop surveying the battlefield. She saw humans and monsters working together, repairing structures, sharing food, and teaching one another. The silver wolf approached once more, nuzzling her hand in a quiet moment of trust. Jarek joined her. "Do you think this is enough?" he asked. Lena shook her head slightly, but with determination in her eyes. "It's a start. We are learning. The aliens may return, but we are no longer helpless. And the monsters, they are not just weapons. They are allies, friends, protectors. Together we might just survive. Together, we might just win." As the sun set over the ruined city, casting an orange glow across the plains, the humans of Arendor realized something extraordinary. Survival was no longer enough. They had allies, they had hope, and they had the power to fight back. And somewhere, deep in the forests and oceans of Earth, more monsters were waking, sensing the call, ready to join the battle. The first step had been taken. Humanity and the monsters of Earth had begun their alliance, and the galaxy would never see anything like it again. The colony of Arendor had survived 2 attacks from the alien invaders, but the cost had been high. Buildings were reduced to skeletons of steel and glass, and the streets were littered with the debris of war. Yet the humans were not defeated. If anything, the presence of the monsters had given them strength and determination, unlike anything they had known before. Early that morning, Dr. Lena Voss and Jarek walked through the partially rebuilt city. The monsters were already active, patrolling the streets and scouting the outskirts. The winged predators flew high above, scanning the horizon for incoming threats. The armored lizards moved steadily through the streets, and massive serpentine creatures slithered silently through the underground passages, ready to strike any alien forces that attempted to flank the humans. "We have to reclaim territory," Lena said, her voice firm. "We cannot just defend. If we stay in the ruins, the aliens will keep coming. We need to take the fight to them." Jarek frowned. "But how?" "They have more ships, more weapons. We barely survived the last attacks." Lena nodded. "Exactly. That's why we need the monsters. They can do things we cannot. They can move fast, attack in ways we cannot predict. We have to combine our planning with their instincts." The first operation was small, a raid on a supply depot that the aliens had been using to gather resources from nearby settlements. Humans moved quietly through the streets, guided by the monsters' careful patrols. The armored lizards smashed gates and walls, allowing humans to slip inside. Winged predators soared overhead, watching for reinforcements, while serpentine creatures emerged from underground tunnels, cutting off escape routes. Inside the depot, human engineers quickly disabled alien machinery, salvaging supplies and weapons. Jarek and a small team worked to hack alien communication devices, hoping to learn about enemy movements. The monsters waited silently, alert to any sounds or movements. Suddenly, alien reinforcements arrived. A squad of alien soldiers appeared from a side entrance, weapons raised. Without hesitation, the monsters attacked. The armored lizards charged, smashing the soldiers aside. Winged predators swooped down, knocking weapons from their hands. Serpentine creatures emerged from below, forcing the aliens to retreat. Humans joined in carefully, following the creatures' lead. Within minutes, the depot was secured. Supplies were collected and human casualties were minimal. For the first time, The humans truly felt that they could fight back. The monsters had taught them a lesson in tactics, timing, and coordination, lessons they would need in the days ahead. After the raid, Lena called a meeting with the colony leaders. The humans gathered in the remains of the city hall, their faces showing a mixture of exhaustion and determination. The monsters waited outside, watching silently, their presence a constant reminder of the new alliance. "We are no longer just defending ourselves," Lena said. "The aliens have underestimated us. They see humans as weak, the monsters as animals. They are wrong. Together we can strike back, reclaim our cities, and force them to retreat." One of the soldiers, a veteran named Corin, spoke up. "But we still don't know their full strength. They could bring more ships, more soldiers. We can't afford to be reckless," Lena nodded. "We will not be reckless. We will plan, and we will use the monsters wisely. They are not tools, they are allies. They will fight for us, and we will fight for them. This is how we survive. This is how we win." That evening, the humans prepared for a larger operation, a push to reclaim the central sector of the city, which had been the aliens' main base. It was heavily fortified, with alien sentries patrolling every street. But Lena had a plan. Humans and monsters would move together, using the creatures' natural abilities to bypass defenses, ambush patrols, and disable key installations. At dawn, the operation began. Armored lizards led the charge, smashing through barricades. Winged predators provided aerial support, distracting alien forces and blocking escape routes. Serpentine creatures moved through tunnels, emerging behind enemy lines to strike at critical points. Humans followed, coordinating attacks, disabling weapons, and guiding civilians to safety. The aliens were caught off guard. They had expected humans to flee, not attack. They had expected monsters to be uncontrollable, not strategic. The combination of human planning and monster instinct overwhelmed them. Alien soldiers were forced to retreat, and key structures fell back into human hands. During the battle, Lena observed a young girl trapped in a building under alien fire. Without hesitation, the silver wolf from earlier dashed forward, shielding the girl with its massive body. Humans followed, creating a safe corridor and evacuating the civilians. Lena realized that the monsters were not just fighters, they were protectors. They valued human life as much as their own. By midday, the central sector was partially reclaimed. Humans and monsters worked together to fortify the area, preparing for the inevitable alien counterattack. The sight of humans and creatures fighting side by side inspired others across the city. Small groups of survivors began emerging from hiding, joining the effort to reclaim their home. Lena and Jarek took a moment to survey the city from a high rooftop. The monsters moved below, coordinating patrols and maintaining security. Humans worked alongside them, learning quickly. The once destroyed city was beginning to look like a stronghold, a place where resistance could grow. "We've come a long way," Jarek said, watching the armored lizards patrol the streets. "But the aliens won't stop. They'll bring more forces, more weapons. We have to be ready." Lena nodded. "And we will be. Every day we learn. Every battle we grow stronger. The aliens have underestimated us from the start. They think we are weak. They are wrong. We are not just humans. We are humans with allies no one expected. And together we are a force they cannot ignore." As the sun set, the city was quiet for the first time in weeks. Humans repaired structures, shared food, and cared for the wounded. Monsters moved silently among them, vigilant and protective. Children played near the creatures, learning to trust them, and even the soldiers began to understand that these monsters were not just allies. They were part of the community now. Lena and Jarek returned to the laboratory, where they analyzed data from the day's operations. Patterns emerged, showing how monsters and humans could coordinate more efficiently. Signals, gestures, and sounds were documented, forming a basic language for future operations. The bond between humans and monsters grew stronger with each battle, and with each success, hope spread across the colony. In the distance, alien ships appeared on the horizon. The humans did not panic. They were ready. The monsters growled in unison, their bodies tense and prepared. Lena knew that the aliens would test their strength again, but this time, the humans were not alone. That night, around a small fire, Lena addressed a group of humans and monsters. "Today we reclaimed part of our city. Tomorrow we will reclaim more. The aliens thought they could destroy us. They thought we would run. But we did not run. We fought, we survived, and we learned. The monsters of Earth are not just powerful. They are our partners, our teachers, and our protectors. And together, we will win. The monsters responded with low growls and soft roars, their voices blending with the humans' murmurs of agreement. It was a strange harmony. Two species, different in form and thought, united by a common goal. As Lena looked up at the stars, she felt a surge of determination. The beacon had called for help, and the answer had come from an unexpected place. The monsters of Earth had arrived, and they were ready to fight. Humans were no longer alone. They had allies unlike any the galaxy had ever seen. And the battle for Arendor had only just begun. The next day would bring more challenges, more battles and more opportunities to prove that humans, with courage and cooperation, could stand against even the most advanced alien forces. And with the monsters at their side, humanity was no longer just surviving. They were learning to fight, to reclaim, and to thrive. For the first time in a long time, Arendor was a city of hope. And hope was a weapon more powerful than any alien technology. The city of Arendor had been partially reclaimed. Humans moved through the streets with a new sense of confidence, and monsters patrolled alongside them. The air was tense, however, for everyone knew the alien empire would not allow this defiance to continue. At dawn, alarms sounded across the city. Sensors and lookout posts reported a massive fleet of alien ships approaching from the horizon. This was no small raid. This was a full-scale assault meant to crush human resistance once and for all. The black shapes of warships blocked the rising sun, casting shadows over the city that made it look smaller and more vulnerable. Dr. Lena Voss stood on a rooftop with Jarek, watching the sky darken. "They've brought everything," she said grimly. "This will be their strongest attack yet." Jarek clenched his fists. "We've survived before. We can survive again. The monsters, they'll help us." Lena nodded. "Yes, but this time we fight not just to survive. We fight to take back our city, and we do it together." The monsters responded instantly. Winged predators rose into the sky, flying in formation to intercept the alien ships. Armored lizards and massive beasts positioned themselves in the streets, ready to block entrances and crush incoming vehicles. Serpentine creatures slithered through tunnels and sewer systems, prepared to strike at enemy reinforcements from below. Humans worked alongside them. Soldiers set up barricades and traps. Engineers readied defensive weapons, and civilians assisted where they could, carrying supplies, tending to the wounded, and guiding others to safety. Every action was coordinated, every movement planned to complement the monster's natural abilities. The first wave of alien forces descended on the city. Soldiers poured out of their ships, weapons raised, and advanced vehicles rolled down the streets. But the monsters were ready. Winged predators swooped down, grabbing vehicles and throwing them aside. Armored lizards smashed through groups of soldiers, scattering them before they could fire. Serpentine creatures struck from underground, pulling alien machines into the tunnels and collapsing streets behind them. Humans followed the monsters' lead, attacking with careful precision. They targeted weak points in alien formations, disarmed soldiers, and guided civilians to safety. It was a battle unlike anything Lena had ever seen. A combination of raw power, instinct, and strategy that made the aliens hesitate. From a high vantage point, Lena observed the chaos. "Jarek, signal the northern flank. The serpents need support." Jarek nodded, raising a communication device. "Northern flank. Support the serpents now." Across the city, additional monsters moved to reinforce the tunnels, coordinating with human signals to ambush alien reinforcements. Winged predators created diversions in the sky, luring enemy forces into traps laid by humans below. The alliance between species was seamless, almost as if they shared a single mind. Despite the monster's strength, the aliens fought back fiercely. Energy blasts tore through buildings, and alien vehicles smashed into streets. One particularly large alien walker advanced toward a group of humans and children hiding in a courtyard. Panic spread as the machine's shadow loomed over them. Before it could strike, a massive armadillo-like creature charged from the street. Its armored body deflected blasts as it rammed the walker, sending it crashing into a wall. Winged predators dived, targeting weak points, while serpentine creatures struck at its legs from below. Humans worked with precision, disabling critical systems with makeshift weapons and tools. Within moments, the alien machine was destroyed. Lena felt a surge of pride and relief. "They're learning," she said to herself. We're learning. Together we can do this, but the battle was far from over. More ships appeared on the horizon, and alien forces continued to pour into the city. Lena realized that brute strength alone would not be enough. They needed strategy, coordination, and courage. She called a meeting with key soldiers and engineers in a partially intact building. "Listen carefully," she said. "The aliens will keep coming. We cannot fight them one by one. We must use the monsters' abilities to control the battlefield. Winged predators intercept ships and scout. Armored lizards block streets and crush vehicles. Serpents hit from underground. Humans coordinate set traps and guide civilians. We move together or we fail." The humans and monsters prepared for the next wave. Winged predators took to the skies again. Armored lizards positioned themselves at intersections, and serpents slithered through tunnels. Humans spread across the city, ready to direct the flow of battle. Every eye was alert, every hand steady. As the aliens advanced, the battle intensified. Ships fired energy beams that lit up the city like lightning. Soldiers charged forward, but the monsters and humans fought in perfect coordination. Armored lizards smashed vehicles. Serpents struck from beneath, and winged predators harassed enemy soldiers from above. Humans used traps and barricades to control alien movement, while small squads targeted key machinery. At one point, Jarek found himself facing an alien soldier in a narrow alley. The soldier raised its weapon, but a silver-furred wolf appeared, knocking the alien aside and giving Jarek a chance to disable it. "Thanks," he muttered, breathing heavily. The wolf growled softly in response and moved on, always alert for the next threat. In the northern sector, Lena directed a group of engineers to use captured alien technology to create temporary barriers. They worked quickly, guided by winged predators that flew overhead and signaled where reinforcements were approaching. The humans and monsters moved like a single unit, surprising the aliens and causing confusion among their ranks. Hours passed in a blur of combat. Humans and monsters continued to fight tirelessly, neither side giving ground. Yet, despite the aliens' numbers and advanced technology, they could not break the unity of their opponents. Every wave they sent was met with resistance, coordination, and determination. By late afternoon, the aliens began to retreat, regrouping to plan another assault. Humans cheered, exhausted but triumphant, while monsters patrolled the streets, ensuring no surprise attacks could occur. For the first time, the humans felt that victory was possible. Not just survival, but actual triumph over the alien forces. Lena stood on a high rooftop surveying the city. Smoke rose from burning vehicles and destroyed buildings, but she saw signs of life everywhere. Humans working with monsters, children playing cautiously in safe areas, and soldiers tending to the wounded. The city was scarred, but it was alive. Jarek joined her, wiping sweat from his brow. "Do you think they'll come back?" he asked, nodding toward the horizon. "They will," Lena said, eyes narrowing. "But we will be ready. Every battle teaches us something. Every success gives us strength. The aliens may be powerful, but they have never faced this, a united force of humans and monsters fighting as one." As night fell, the city settled into an uneasy quiet. Fires burned softly in the distance, and the monsters roamed the streets, vigilant and watchful. Humans worked through the night, repairing defenses, treating injuries, and preparing for the next inevitable assault. In the center of the city, Lena gathered the children who had survived the attacks. A massive silver wolf lay beside them, its head resting near the children as a protective guardian. Lena spoke softly. "You are safe because of the monsters and because of the humans who fight alongside them. Remember that courage and trust can change the outcome of any battle." The children listened quietly, eyes wide with wonder. They had seen monsters, they had seen humans fight back against impossible odds, and they had learned that fear could be met with courage and despair with hope. Above, the stars shone brightly. Lena looked up, thinking of the beacon that had called for help. It had worked beyond imagination. The monsters had responded, humanity had survived, and now, together, they had begun to reclaim what was theirs. She felt a deep sense of pride. "This is only the beginning," she whispered. "The aliens will try again. They will not give up easily, but neither will we. We fight together, humans and monsters, and we will endure." Far across the planet, other monsters stirred, sensing the battles on Arendor. Some had not yet arrived, drawn by the same call that had awakened the silver wolf and its companions. Lena knew that reinforcements were coming. More allies from Earth, more creatures ready to join the fight. Humans and monsters had survived their greatest challenge yet. But the war was far from over. The alien empire remained a threat, and the battles ahead would test every skill, every alliance, and every ounce of courage. Yet for the first time, Lena and her people believed in victory. They had allies unlike any the galaxy had ever seen, and they had learned that strength was not measured by weapons alone, but by courage, intelligence, and cooperation. The night air was filled with quiet roars and soft growls as the monsters patrolled. Humans moved cautiously among them, learning, observing, and preparing. Together they had faced the enemy and survived. Together they would continue to fight. Arendor was scarred, but it was alive. The humans and monsters of Earth had proven that even in the darkest hour, hope, courage, and unity could turn the tide. And the galaxy would soon learn that humanity, with its unexpected allies, could not be ignored. The city of Arendor had endured countless attacks, but dawn of the final battle brought a determination unlike any before. Humans and monsters moved together through the streets, preparing for what they knew would be the decisive confrontation with the alien forces. Every human, from the youngest child to the oldest engineer, understood the stakes. They were no longer fighting merely to survive. They were fighting to reclaim their home, their planet, and their future. Dr. Lena Voss stood at the edge of the central plaza, overlooking the streets that had been partially restored and fortified. Armored lizards crouched near barricades, their eyes scanning for movement. Winged predators soared above, calling softly to one another as they adjusted flight paths to anticipate attacks. Serpentine creatures slithered through tunnels beneath the city, invisible and ready. Humans moved among them, guiding civilians, checking weapons, and coordinating signals with the monsters. "This is it," Lena said, voice firm but calm. "We have learned from every attack, every mistake. Today we strike back with everything we have. The aliens will not expect what is coming." Jarek, standing beside her, tightened his gloves and nodded. "We've survived before. Now we win." At that moment, the alien fleet appeared on the horizon. This time, it was larger than any previous assault. Hundreds of ships, sleek and black, blocked the sunlight. Alien soldiers poured out, armed with advanced weapons and protected by heavy armor. They moved with confidence, believing victory was already theirs. But what they did not see was the united force of humans and monsters waiting for them. Lena activated the citywide signal, coordinating all humans and monsters. Armored lizards took the lead in the streets, charging forward in organized waves. Winged predators flew overhead, targeting enemy vehicles and creating confusion among the alien soldiers. Serpentine creatures emerged strategically from tunnels, striking at weak points and isolating enemy groups. Humans followed, directing attacks, setting traps, and guiding those caught in the chaos to safety. The first clash was brutal. Alien energy weapons lit up the streets as armored lizards smashed through squads of soldiers. Winged predators swooped down from above, grabbing vehicles and throwing them aside. Serpentine creatures struck with speed and precision, taking out enemy reinforcements before they could react. Humans moved like shadows among the chaos, their actions coordinated with the monsters' instincts. In one street, Jarek and a team of soldiers found themselves surrounded by alien soldiers. Panic threatened to take hold, but a massive silver wolf appeared, leaping into the enemy ranks and knocking several soldiers aside. Jarek realized then that the monsters did not just fight. They protected, they guided, they inspired. The humans fought with renewed courage, following the monsters' lead and striking with precision. Meanwhile, Lena directed a squad to disable alien communication towers, which would prevent reinforcements from coordinating effectively. Winged predators escorted them, diving to distract enemy patrols and attacking anyone who tried to interfere. Serpentine creatures collapsed key passages, preventing alien escape or regrouping. Every move was planned, but every action required instinct, courage, and trust between species. Hours passed in relentless combat. The city shook with explosions, the roar of monsters, and the shouts of humans. Fires burned in some areas, but the coordinated effort ensured civilians were safe. Children huddled with winged predators overhead, or crouched near armored lizards on the ground, watching as their protectors fought alongside their guardians. Despite the chaos, a pattern emerged. The aliens, though technologically advanced, could not adapt quickly enough to the combined human-monster tactics. Their formations were broken, their reinforcements delayed, and their confidence shaken. The creatures of Earth were not just powerful. They were smart, disciplined, and unafraid. Humans had learned to fight with them, amplifying their strengths and covering their weaknesses. At the center of the city, a massive alien war machine advanced toward a group of civilians, hiding behind a partially destroyed building. It seemed unstoppable. Lena's heart raced as she watched. "We have to stop it," she shouted. Armored lizards charged first, drawing the machine's attention. Winged predators dove from above, attacking sensors and energy nodes. Serpentine creatures emerged from below, wrapping around the legs and treads of the machine, slowing it. Humans moved quickly, targeting weak points they had observed in previous battles. The combined effort toppled the war machine, sending it crashing into rubble with a deafening roar. Jarek exhaled, wiping sweat from his brow. "We can do this. We will do this." The battle continued into the afternoon. Alien ships were shot down by winged predators coordinated with human energy cannons. Armored lizards crushed vehicles and isolated enemy squads. Serpentine creatures struck from the shadows, their movements unpredictable and deadly. Humans coordinated every strike, using tactics learned from previous attacks, always aware of the monsters at their side. Finally, the alien commanders realized that their forces were being overwhelmed. Ships that had once dominated the sky were falling one by one. Soldiers that had once struck fear into humans were now retreating in confusion. The combined power of humans and monsters had broken the alien assault. In a final effort, the alien fleet attempted to regroup for a massive strike against the city center. Lena knew this could be the end if they failed. She activated the last coordinated signal. Monsters responded instantly. Winged predators blocked the sky. Armored lizards formed unbreakable walls, and serpentine creatures struck in perfect timing from underground. Humans directed fire, guided civilians to safety, and joined the monsters in direct combat. The aliens' final attack failed spectacularly. Their ships were destroyed, soldiers captured or forced to retreat, and their morale shattered. The city of Arendor, battered but not broken, had survived. Humans cheered, embracing one another, and the monsters let out victorious roars that echoed across the plains. Lena stood on a rooftop, exhausted, but proud. She watched as humans and monsters moved among the streets, repairing structures, treating the wounded, and helping each other. The city was scarred but alive. It had been reclaimed. Jarek joined her, smiling despite fatigue. "We did it. We really did it," Lena nodded. "Yes, and we learned something more important than victory. We learned that humans are never truly alone. We can survive and even thrive when we trust ourselves, and when we trust the strength of allies, even those we never expected." Across the city, the monsters moved like guardians of a new era. Winged predators perched on rooftops watching the skies. Armored lizards patrolled streets, ensuring no surprise attacks. Serpentine creatures slithered silently beneath, protecting supply lines and civilians. They had become part of the human community, respected, trusted, and loved. Children laughed as they played near their massive protectors, learning lessons of courage and trust. Soldiers and engineers worked with monsters to rebuild structures, moving past fear and doubt. Even the civilians, once terrified, now understood the power of unity between humans and Earth's creatures. As night fell, Lena and Jarek walked through the central plaza. Fires had mostly been extinguished, and the city had a calm, almost peaceful aura. The stars shone above, reminding everyone that their beacon had called for help, and the answer had come in the form of creatures they had once believed were myths. Lena looked at the silver-furred wolf that had been with her since the first attack. Its eyes were bright, intelligent, and patient. She knelt and placed a hand on its head. "We couldn't have done this without you," she said softly. The wolf nuzzled her hand, a gesture of trust and understanding. Jarek smiled. "Do you think they'll stay?" "They will," Lena replied. "And we will stay with them. Together, humans and monsters have proven we are stronger than any force that comes to challenge us." In the days that followed, the colony of Arendor rebuilt faster than anyone could have imagined. With the monsters' help, humans cleared debris, repaired buildings, and fortified their defenses. They trained together, learning to fight in coordinated teams that combined human intelligence and monster instinct. The city, once a target for alien conquest, had become a symbol of resilience, courage, and unity. Word of the victory spread across the galaxy. Other colonies, once fearful and oppressed, began to resist. The story of humans standing with the monsters of Earth inspired hope everywhere, proving that even in the darkest hour, survival and triumph were possible. Lena watched the city from a hill overlooking the plains. Fires had been replaced with lanterns. Children laughed in safe areas, and humans moved with confidence alongside their guardians. The battle was over, but the war had taught a lesson that would last for generations. Humans, when united and courageous, could overcome even the most advanced enemies. Jarek stood beside her. "We've won, but I think this is just the beginning. Other worlds will hear about us now. They'll know humans can fight, can survive, and can form alliances no one expects." Lena nodded. "Yes, and we'll be ready. Today we are survivors. Tomorrow we will be leaders, teachers, and protectors of our planet. And these monsters, they will be our partners in all that comes next." The city of Arendor was alive with hope, stronger and more united than ever. Humans had not only survived, they had proven their courage, intelligence, and determination.